Hello, I am the Irish guy, and lads, I am scared to look at my Premier League predictions video I did in August. I just know that by May, I'm going to have forfeits raining on me like a clown monsoon. But lads, today I'm going to give an updated Premier League predictions video, right? Which is sort of cheating because we're halfway through the season. I'm still going to predict what the Premier League table will look like in May. Surely. I mean, this is like being halfway into a book and then being able to predict the ending. Surely you're going to get some of it right. Surely you've got enough information by now to know that The Lord of the Rings isn't about pie. So go on then. This is going to be the table in May. Right, let's go. 20th Burnley. At the start of the season, I predicted that Burnley would finish 9th. Yeah, we're 6 months later and I've changed my mind. I think they'll now finish bottom. I'm not sure I've ever flip-flopped so heavily in my life. This is a bit sad. It's a bit like an English teacher at her first parent-teacher meeting. Oh, she's telling Sheila that her son, the quiet kid who sits in the corner, has a bright future and has the brains to be a scientist. Yeah, 6 months later, she's now telling that same mum that her creepy son will be lucky to get a job sweeping up monkey poo at the zoo. Oh, and also, could he please leave his trench coat at home? It's creeping out the bullies. I thought company was going to mastermind something incredible this season. He hasn't. To be fair to him though, he has kept his dignity and his cool. As a young rookie manager, that can sometimes be an issue. I mean, can you imagine if Troy Deeney was instead Burnley boss? Give him just one post-match interview and he'd probably have every one of his squad threatening to sue him in court. But yeah, I know that they're 19th now and I know they spanked Sheffield United 5-0. The Clarets do play better football, but 19th Sheffield United. Look, Sheffield United have been a disgrace this season. Conceding 49 goals in 20 matches is horrible. Most of you think that the Blades are a shoo-in to finish last. Barely anybody has faith in them to win a match. Everyone has written them off as the bottom basement club. But there's just under half the season left, and it's a shootout between Vincent Kompany and Chris Wilder. One of them is a learning rookie manager who's still getting to grips with top-level management, and yeah, probably feeding Craig Bellamy cookies out of his pocket. Wilder's someone who's been a manager since 2001, before even Kompany's senior debut for Anderlecht. He was 15. Wilder is just 3 games shy of 1,000 games as manager, which is mental to think. We all remember Steve Bruce dressing up in a suit for his 1,000th game as boss of Newcastle 2 years ago. To be fair, he just looked like he was on his way to a funeral for his cat. But Wilder, it feels like he only came to national prominence only 5 minutes ago. But fair enough, he's had 431 wins as a coach, just a few less wins to his name than Diego Simeone. In over half a season, Wilder will squeeze himself above Kompany. But, I mean, who really cares? Because you're both going down. It's a bit like arguing over who gets to jump out of the Eiffel Tower first. Oh, by the way, lads, if you're new here, hit subscribe. Trying to get to 190k, which would be incredible. Would be great. So all of you who have not clicked that red button, go on and do it. You absolute legends. 18th Nottingham Forest. This feels weird to say because I rate Nuno Espirito Santo as a manager. I think sacking Steve Cooper for Santo, someone who 5 minutes ago was bellowing instructions to actual Karim Benzema, that is the move. But here's the issue. Forest are going to get a points deduction for FFP, which I think will completely demoralize the squad and completely puncture their wings. I said 18th for Forest in August. Weirdly, I'm not changing my mind. Don't get me wrong. Without a points deduction, they would stay up comfortably and Santo would be hailed as a complete and total king. But let's say it's minus 10 points, like Everton. That would fling Forest all the way down to 19th on 10 points with 18 games left. Sorry, lads, but I still think you're going down. 17th Everton. 2 points deductions. Are you really going to dock Everton another 10 points? How harsh can this be? At the start of the season, I said the Toffees would have a comfortable mid-table campaign. And so for every game week they were in the relegation zone, I pour freezing cold milk on my head. So just like that, the FA have decided to punish them twice. You know where Everton should be this season right now? 12th, and breathing down the neck of the top half. They've collected just 2 points less than Newcastle, who were in the Champions League, and yet the FA are determined to send them down. Just leave Everton alone. Imagine if you were told last summer that the Toffees would essentially start the season on minus 20 points. The Everton fans would have no hope. They would probably have woken up each morning trying to numb the pain by eating their body weight in chocolate buddy rabbits. I mean, take 20 points away from Everton last season, and they'd have finished bottom on 16 points. The year before, they'd have finished bottom on 19 points, even below a terrible Norwich. Even if you had taken 20 points from Everton when they had Carlo Ancelotti at the wheel, managerial royalty who makes Dyche by comparison look like some squish spider stain on the rug. If you had given them 2 10-point deductions, they would have finished 16th, only above Dyche's Burnley on goal difference. So me to pick Everton to still survive. Who do I think they are? John Wick? Miraculously surviving 13 bullets to the groin? I mean, I'm only guessing. I've never seen the films. Look, if these points deductions happen, I am terrified of milk again, but Sean has galvanized this squad. Goodison Park is a fortress against all odds. I still think Everton are staying up. Maybe I'm deluded. Maybe I'm like that one weird nerd who wants to plead with the internet to give the Trolls movie a chance, but yeah, Everton will survive. 16th, Luton Town. Look, I know the Hatters only have 4 wins by mid-January. Everyone loves tiny little Luton, with their miniature little ground that looks like a pizza shop. Look, there are a lot of defeats in there. Listen, they've got a squad really low on quality. Come on, one of their big marquee signings is a part-time pundit ripped off the telly. Would not be shocked to hear that they've also given Tail Walcott a ring. But well, things are so desperate Luton right now. Would not put it past Rob Edwards to ask Karen Carney if she wants to run out on the wing. And just like that, I'm sure Joey Barton felt a shiver down his spine. But you know what? This will be an absolute battle to the end. I just think Luton will scramble their way to survival. It won't be pretty. It'll be an ugly, horrible scrap. But yeah, against all odds, tiny little Luton are staying up, and 16th is beyond their wildest dreams. Offer Luton fans 16th back in August, and it would have been a bit like offering a hungry orphan a free Big Mac. Honestly, they'd have probably licked seaweed off a rock, so a full-on burger. Oh yes, please. 15th, Brentford. 15th for Brentford looks like a fine, decent, passable season for Thomas Frank, right? Especially with having to cope with Ivan Toney out for 6 months. But really, this will just absolutely paper over the cracks without the nasty points deductions getting in the way. Make no mistake about it, the Bees will be squeaking survival. Wedged somewhere in 17th, like a cartoon dog staring over a cliff. The Bees are an absolute free fall. 7 defeats in 8 league games is absolutely monstrously terrible. It is sack territory, but we have seen this from them before. Brentford once took 4 points from 11 games in a row 2 years ago. I was screaming for Frank to get chucked in a bin, but then they turned around to finish the season with 7 wins in 11 games. Ultimately, Brentford will be fine. 14th, Fulham. Fulham massively confused me. Are they good or not? Is Marco Silva making progress, or are they sliding into a bin bag? They had a pretty ordinary start to the season, but I'm sorry, for 3 weeks there, they looked magical. Beating Wolves 3-2 at home, were minutes away from leaving Anfield with a 3-2 win. Then they battered Nottingham Forest and West Ham by 5 goals within 4 days of each other. Again, I think it's so spooky that back in the Championship, Marco Silva also put up symmetrical Craven Cottage score lines in the same week, winning 6-2 twice in a row. That is just weird. But since then, 4 defeats and 5. They've only scored in 1 game during that run, but that was a dramatic home win over Arsenal. Fulham have quality, but they're inconsistent. They're sloppy. They don't score enough goals, which sounds mental to say considering they did just score 16 goals in just 4 matches a month ago. But yeah, just an unimpressive 14th. 13th, Wolves. Everyone says that I'm really unfair on Gary O'Neill. But lads, I did tip Wolves to finish bottom of the league. I said O'Neill will be gone by April and replaced by Andre Diaz-Boas. So the fact that I'm now tipping him to not only keep his job until May, but to finish 13th, then clearly my data can't be that strong, right? But yeah, no, in the summer, I do think O'Neill will be sacked and replaced by Jose Mourinho, which is probably the biggest upgrade any football club has ever made. 12th, Crystal Palace. I said Crystal Palace will finish 12th at the start, and I haven't changed my mind. There's been no surprise here this season. They're an exciting squad bristling with youthful, exuberant talent, but they're being held back by somebody who should be sitting at home in bed with a crossword puzzle and a pie, listening to Frank Sinatra on the radio. I mean, come on, since winning at Old Trafford in September, Palace have won twice. 2 wins in 13 games? Well, that'll be fine. 12th, 11th, Brighton. Yep. I said that Brighton will finish 11th in August, and I stand by it. They're 8th right now, and are absolutely the hipster's choice. People are losing their minds about Roberto De Zerbi, championing him for the Manchester United job. Can everybody please relax? You would think you'd have learned your lessons about overhyping the Brighton boss. Lads, if you think that I'm being harsh tipping them to finish bottom half. Oh no! Yes, they had an absolutely lightning start of the season. 5 wins in the opening 6 games was magnificent, but the reality is that the Seagulls have won just 3 of the last 14 league games. They're still in European football after topping the Europa League group. After a very shaky start, they're still in the FA Cup too. I'm sorry, but injuries, legginess, I think they're going to prioritize Europe. I'm not changing my mind. 11th, 10th, West Ham. West Ham fans are going to be mad at me. Right now, David Moyes has them 6th in the league, hunting down European football again, and I'm tipping them to just crawl their way out of the top half by the width of a badger's fingernail. Well, yes. West Ham are in a good moment right now. They haven't conceded a Premier League goal in 5 weeks, but this team can be inconsistent. Does nobody remember their pre-Halloween run of 5 defeats in 7 league games? What about the horrendous 5-0 capitulation of Craven Cottage? Chuck in the fact that yes, they'll be desperately trying to win the Europa League this season. By the way, if they do that, that would be mental. David Moyes winning 2 different European trophies with the same club. Anyone predicting that after his Sunderland implosion, it would be like predicting that a constipated gorilla in the hills of Peru would one day wind up enjoying a cup of coffee on the moon. But yeah, sorry Hammers, 10th, 9th, Bournemouth. This looks confusing, right? If you had gone back to late October, when Andoni Iraola was still winless as Bournemouth boss after his first 9 Premier League games in charge, with the club having embarrassingly let their former coach Gary O'Neill, someone who looks like a creepy ventriloquist doll, seeing him leave this stadium with a win, leaving Bournemouth staring relegation in the face. Oh, surely Iraola is going to get the chop, right? Anybody tipping them to finish at 9th after that start would surely have cream cheese for brains, right? Now, and they since won 7 of the next 10 league matches, are right now 12th, and yes, maybe it's a reach to think that they're going to catch West Ham, considering they're languishing 9 points behind, but I've already said it. 2024 is going to be the year of the cherries. This is Iraola's true breakout year, and so yeah, the second half of the season, Bournemouth are going to do a madness. 8th Man United. In my original predictions video, I said that Manchester United would finish second in the league. I realize that now makes me sound like someone who also thinks that the sun is a floating alien. So yeah, I'm having to massively backtrack on that. I began this season tipping Manchester United to have their joint best finish in over 10 years. A few months later, and I now think they're gearing up for the lowest finish since 1990, when Sir Alex Ferguson guided them to 13th. Boy, was that embarrassing. This is a man who inherited a Manchester United team who just finished 4th 3 seasons in a row. He then guides them to 11th, 2nd, 11th, and 13th. I'm sorry, but if that was modern, ruthless football, where Twitter is a thing, he'd have been sacked midway through season 3. In his 4th season, Man United went on a run of failing to win 11 league games across the winter months of 1990. They were 17th in the league in early February. In their second last game of the season, they lost 4-0 away at Nottingham Forest to sit 16th. 16th in May. How was Fergie not sacked? Lads, he was appointed in 1986. By the end of his 3rd full season in charge, he had failed to win 100 games of football as Manchester United boss. I have no earthly clue how he was not binned. The fact he turned out to be the greatest manager of all time after such a rotten start, it boggles the mind. I mean, if there was YouTube in the 80s, he would have had angry fans screaming that he was some useless pumpkin who belonged back in the puny Scottish leagues. His results were far worse than David Moyes. Way worse. Well, I can only imagine the backlash. Anyway, Man United are a mess right now. Eric Ten Hag is a guy who has no real pattern of play, no real clue. You've won 1 of your last 6 league games. You've put no real rhythm together. I don't even think the players like you. I'm sorry. You're gonna fall to a pretty grim 8th. Then are you gonna sack the man? 7th Newcastle. I'm not sure anyone, anywhere in the world, has ever tipped a team in such horrible relegation form as 6 defeats in 7 matches to then go and finish above Manchester United in May. Has that ever happened? I realize it sounds absolutely silly to think that a Magpies team who already lost 14 games of football this season will still sneak European football by finishing 7th, but why not? Yes, this is a squad which has been swallowed whole by an injury curse. But Eddie Howe has done this before, turning around a gloomy, horrible rot of 4. Remember this time 2 years ago, the club were 19th in January with 1 win all season? Yeah, in the second half of the campaign, they win 12 league games to finish just 3 points behind 8th. Now that they've been kicked out of Europe completely, I can see how regrouping, getting some key players fit again, like Harvey Barnes, going on a bit of a run and salvaging their season. Honestly, 7th, which would not be terrible at all. 6th, Chelsea. Look, Chelsea have been the banter club ever since they stupidly sacked Thomas Tuchel. And I know most people aren't finished laughing at Chelsea yet, right? So hearing me tipping them to finish as high as 6, that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that they're going to be sucked back into another relegation scrap, with Pochettino looking more embarrassed than Will Smith whenever he hears his son speak. But I think Chelsea are going to have a strong second half of the season, put some wins together, the team will gel, click. They've got some exciting youngsters coming back from injury, like Romeo Lavia, who I believe will be a monster player for the club. This isn't that far-fetched at all. They're only 3 points off 6th now. Honestly, Chelsea are going to finish the season strong. 5th, Aston Villa. Aston Villa fans will be miserable hearing this. And trust me, I understand why. Unai Emery has had this team in the top 4 since late November. After such a brilliant start, finishing 4th is a minimum, surely, right? The fans are already dreaming of the Champions League. And so coming up short at the last minute, oh, it will hurt. 4th, Tottenham. Battle for 4th is between Tottenham and Aston Villa. It just is. And I know Villa arguably have the better manager, but Spurs play the better football, especially when they get James Maddison back into the team. Do you remember how perfect the side were with him putting strings in midfield at the start of the season? They didn't lose any of their first 10 league games. Lads, this will be incredibly close, but I just think Spurs have more star quality, better attacking players, and more goals in the team. Sorry, Villa, but Spurs for 4th. Tottenham as a fan base, as a club, they just know what it takes to get over the line and qualify for this thing. They're not going to be nervous for the run-in. They have finished in the top 10 7 times since 2010. It's not that special for them anymore. Villa haven't done that since 1996. Villa remind me of Tottenham in 2005. When they finished 5th twice, they just couldn't get over the line. Lads, over the last 20 years, there's only been 3 clubs with no real Champions League experience who burst into the top 4. It looked weird to see them qualify for the Champions League. That was Everton in 2005, Leicester in 2016, and Newcastle in 2023. That's it. Every other team who's finished in the top 4 since then had been buzzing around those spots for years before anyway. So sorry, Villa, it's just gonna be Spurs. 3rd, Arsenal. Listen, Arsenal are teetering close to the edge. Up until Christmas, this is all about the Gunners chasing down Man City in another title race, right? Now, at this stage, it's more about clinging onto their spot in the top 4. I think the Gunners will continue to slightly wobble in the second half of the season. They'll be a long way behind 2nd, but yeah, 3rd on about 70 5 points. Second, Liverpool. Yeah, pretty simple. Liverpool are going to be the best of the rest. Just like in 2014, 2019, and 2022, the Reds are going to finish second to Manchester City. You'll have another great second half of the season, but I'm sorry, Man City are just too good. I reckon Liverpool will wind up on 84 points. Great, but the title race will still be done by April. First, Man City. Man City are unstoppable. Lads, they've already done their slipping up in the first half of the season, and yet are just 2 points off the top. This is like the villain in Scream, choosing to give the babysitters a 20-minute head start, and then when he opens his eyes to chase them, they barely manage to find their way out the front door. One of them is just hiding behind the couch. I'm sorry, but nobody has built up a good enough lead on City yet. And with Kevin De Bruyne back, oh, just watch. They're going to go on a 15-game winning run and cheer the way to 89 points. The end. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, alright, what is your updated predictions? Let me know in the comment section below. Have I got this right? Let me know. Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk shit a while.